Hey everyone, it's Sarah at Cornish Papercraft. I just wanted to bring to you today a mix of a sympathy card or a thinking of you card. Obviously with everything that's going on at the pandemic at the moment, I have been making quite a few sympathy cards. This one, like I say, can be used for both. It's using Poppies and obviously thinking of you with all my heart. So it can be changed. I mean, this is the one I've made. I use cherry cobbler blender pens, cherry cobbler card with white ink, and the base was cherry cobbler. So these are the two stamp sets we're going to be using. Painted Poppies with this one, and Peaceful Moments with, we're going to use this sentiment again here. So to get started, let me just pop that one over there. I have already cut my base and I'm using real red this time, so just a little bit brighter, just so you can see the difference there. This one's 4 inches by 11.5, scored at 5 3/4. And then we're going to put a black layer on, so let me just move that one out of the way just there. So to get the matting and layering effect, you take 1/8 of an inch off each time. So for the next layer, it needs to be 3 7/8. And on the width again, so instead of it being 5 3/4, you're looking at 5 6/8. So this, just let me show you what I'm on about. So by taking 1/8 of an inch off, it gives you that little bit of a border all the way around the edge. So that's the main pieces done. And then we're going to use a piece of white cardstock, which is we're going to be stamping on. This is a further 1/8 of an inch shorter. So on width, we're going to be going at 3 3/4. Just take that little bit off there. And it will be at 5 1/2. So you've decreased by 1/8 of an inch every single time. So that goes onto there, and that one will eventually go onto there. So you get a border all the way around. So that is all of the cutting and scoring that you need to do. Fun part comes with the stamping. So I have already put my stamp onto my block, and literally to make sure I've got it straight, all I've done is turned it over, used my cutting mat, lined it up, and then put my acrylic block just on top. So what I am going to do is just grab some scrap paper, well used as you can see, just so we can get the stamping onto it. And then what you just need to do is you can use your cutting mat to just line it up underneath, because this is like a background stamp to me. It needs to be even, and you need to stamp it twice. So I'm using Memento black ink. I quite like that one, so it's the wrong way around. Pick up in most craft stores, or you can buy it from me via Stampin' Up. And I always like to take my ink to my stamp just so that you can see it's evenly covered. And then just gently pop your stamp down. There we go, so there's the first one. Just need to repeat it again. Just line it straight up and stamp straight down. There we go. So that is the main part of the stamping done as well. So I'm just going to put my lid onto that one and move that stamp just out of the way. And then for colouring, what I've done is, instead of using the blender pens, which are pre-coloured, which I did with the cherry cobbler, that one there, I don't know if you can quite see that one just there. Don't think it's going to focus very well, but it's a blender pen that I've used to colour in. I unfortunately don't have a real red in the blender pen, so what I've done is I've got the old style blend pens that Stampin' Up used to do, and grabbed my ink pad, my old classic one, squished it a few times just to put ink into the lid. There we go. So it's created that little pool just in the lid there, and literally all I've done is use my blender pen and taking it over to each poppy. And obviously the more you do, the lighter it will get. So obviously you just need to keep dabbing back to your ink pad each and every time. So just to save you watching me colouring all of those in, I have done that part of the work. That's already stuck down. There we go. Ta-da, and coloured it all in. So there we go. I've also stuck it down onto the first layer of the basic black. So the next part we're going to do is to grab some ribbon. I've just got some 6mm red ribbon in my stash, and we're just going to put a layer across the bottom. So it doesn't have to be masses long. I am quite frugal with my crafting because I believe there's no need to have any waste. So just cut it a little bit more than what you need. Line it up just so it covers that bottom part. Make sure you've got enough to fold around the backs. And then I just gently turn mine over, grab my tape runner. This comes from local hobby store, cheap and easy, very quick, and just run it there a couple of times and stick your ribbon down. So that gives you just that base to hold on to. And then just pull it across, make sure it's nice and tight, and do the same on the other side. So it saves you using that another piece of ribbon all the way around when you just need that piece across the front. So that's that bit done. So we can stick that one down to your card base now. So again, just run some glue all the way around on the outside. I just put some in the middle when there's ribbon on, just in case. Obviously make sure you've got your card the right way. And just, actually I'm going to use that one, I think. I have got a couple of bases cut because I'm making quite a few of these for my local shop. So that is the main part of the card done already. The next bit we need to do is to stamp this sentiment in Whisper White. Let me just grab a piece of real red cardstock. This is a scrap piece. I've lined it up again using my cutting mat, so we're going to stamp it into the Whisper White pigment ink, also from Stampin' Up. Obviously my stamp pad's lost its colour a little bit because I've been doing all sorts with it, but you just re-ink it and it will come back up to white, as you can see just at the top there. Make sure it's fully covered on your stamp. Make sure you know which way your stamp's running so you don't stamp it upside down, which I've done quite a few times. Line it up, come in close, and stamp. Now obviously with it being Whisper White, I find it just needs a second or two to dry. So you can put that aside or you can carry on, but I would just be very careful of it being smudged. And then what you can do is you can either use your banner punch. Here we go. So you can slot that one in, and because it's a small piece, I mean there's grooves on either side, so it will fit into the groove, so you can go up to that big. What I would suggest is just to keep an eye on where your writing is, because you don't want to take too much off. There we go, just so you can see. Just make sure it's in the centre. And press down. Done. There we go. So there's a previous one I stamped just a couple of hours ago, just so it's nice and dry. And it's obviously given that banner punch. I mean, another way of doing it would be to cut into the centre and then you notch left and right to get that angle effect. So there we go. And then all you just need to do is tape again on the back, or you could use dimensionals if you wanted a little bit of height on it. And all I did was I run it from the red card straight across, just so you can see what I mean. So it's just gone over the black bit, and that is your card done. I mean, what I tend to do is before I package them up. I just cut another white layer just on the inside, taking 1/8 of an inch off each time, so it'd be 3 7/8 by 5 6/8, I think, if my maths is correct, just so people have got that extra layer when they're writing on. So I hope you like that card today. The next one I'm going to be doing is going to be a bit of a throwback one. I'm going to be using the storybook set, and these are the 2 cards, oh sorry, the glare is quite bad, we will be making in the next one. So that's the next one coming up, and we'll be using the B bundle the week after that one. So thanks very much for joining me today. I'd love to see your version or your take on this one with different colours or different sentiments. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.